It's the first of the fourth, 2025. The time is 5 minutes past 10. Happy April Fools. You know what, there's a cheeky April Fools in here now, but I want to weave it into the narrative because the day is all about Red Bull. It's all about Tsunoda-san. It's all about livery reveals. We'll go through each and every single one of them because it's techier than techie things. Listen, I hope and pray that Tsunoda-san can pull this off. I hope and pray that Red Bull can be at their best because they've just raised the stakes. Let me show you this in the first instance. This is the livery. Oh, the humanity. What do you mean? Now, we saw the sneak peeks yesterday, right? Different shade of white as versus Turkey 21. And many F1 aficionados and community said that no, we won exactly as we had it. Shades of yellow, shades of red. I looked at this in the first instance and I wasn't a big fan. You want me to be honest? It reminded me of the BAR back in the day, and that wasn't a great car, right? But again, there is meaning here. You see that thing in the background, the RA272. That is the car in which Honda as an engine manufacturer experienced their first win 60 years ago in Formula One. That's what it means, chat, and that's why they've made it look like that, and I'm here for it. 21st century economy, you're a legend. How can you not like that? It's stakes now when you understand the underlying meaning that this is of significance now, a seminal moment for both Honda and now Red Bull. That aesthetic of that car that we're going to see this race weekend at the Japanese Grand Prix has to mean something. What do you mean? And then you see that bloody red circle, a reminiscent of the Japanese flag, also on the Red Bull. That's Max Verstappen's car because it has the number 1 on it, and I am here for it. Red Bull do these things well. They're nothing if not a brilliant marketing firm come energy drinks company, and when they get their hand into this sort of stuff, you're going to see some god tier fortunes. There's 2 being made, one of which sadly I can't show you because it's got lots of F1 footage on it, the second of which you're about to see. Roll the clip. I mean, not bad, eh? How do you like yourself some F1? They are raising the stakes, both in F1 terms and as far as marketing. It feels like Red Bull have been waiting for this moment on the back of all the Ferrari shenanigans. Sir Lewis Hamilton in the pinstripe with the halo, looking like Don Corleone, aka Marlon Brando. Do you know what I mean? That this is Red Bull's time to shine, that they're celebrating the success, the speed, their partnership, the collaboration between them and Honda that's yielded so many championships historically, in addition to in the present day. It's going to get techie though, because again, this is Tsunoda-san's day. As far as the narrative and plot line that's going to stick out like a sore thumb, it will be around whether Red Bull made the correct decision. And again, it's been a litany of poor ones over the past 24 months. Misconduct gate, PA gate, trying to spin off Red Bull Racing Technologies with a view to leverage British financiers. Christian Horner trying to become a shareholder more than a team principal. Toto the boy who cried wolf settings. The car, what's going on with it? Multitudinous travails as far as its aerodynamic and mechanical aspect. Understeer settings. The things on negative brake bias, but it won't fudging turn. What are we doing here? Max Verstappen, is he going to stay or is he going to go? That's the chaos as far as the circumstance that so depicts Red Bull going into the Japanese Grand Prix. And then let me show you this. You think it's a joke? Well, Top Gear do. April Fool's settings. This is what they've said. Breaking news. Red Bull to swap Tsunoda for Hajar at the first Japanese Grand Prix pit stop. Now look, a joke's only funny if it has serious undertones. No. Of course it's April Fool's, and of course Top Gear are cracking a joke, but at the expense of Red Bull and their poor low-level decision making. Not only the materiality of it, the consequence of it, but the frequency of it. If again Red Bull want to take themselves going seriously going forward, they need Tsunoda-san to work. If he doesn't work, then people aren't going to point the finger at Tsunoda-san as much as they are Red Bull, Horner, Helmut Marko, the C-suite exec level bods in Mintzlaff, and so too Mark Mateschitz, Dietrich Mateschitz's son. You understand that now the decision making as far as the drivers going forward has been taken out of the hands of Helmut Marko. When everything was going well, it was just him, with a cheeky rubber stamp from Christian Horner. Now, however, as at Thursday last week, they all flew over to Milton Keynes. They all made the decision by consensus. It has become that important. They can't have, if they are a marketing company, the likes of Top Gear, making fun of them. That joke, they are the butt of. And here's why it's important, chat, going into Japanese Grand Prix. There's a report come out today where Tony Quinn, legend of New Zealand motorsport, said that Liam Lawson, as far as his aspect going forward, that he thinks that emotion might actually be good for him. And here's where it gets techie than techie things. He says, carrying on for another event for Liam, if it didn't work out well, it would have been worse for him. I think he would have wanted to effing unalive himself, to be quite honest. That is chaos, as far as a quote. You'll recall that Helmut Marko said of Isaac Hadjar that was a bit embarrassing, when mental health is a serious thing now in 2025. The fact that Tony Quinn has said that in a quote to Speed Cafe is seminal. This is really, really important for Red Bull, that Yuki Tsunoda performs this car at the Japanese Grand Prix from a marketing perspective, and so too from a circling the wagons perspective. Again, they need momentum now more than ever. Quinn says that he's definitely got the talent, has Liam Lawson. He just needs to have a reboot, and once he gets on the road again, he'll be just fine. And again, that's the prevailing sentiment for the F1 community now. And that has to mean something as far as Tsunoda's, lest he wants to be outperformed, put into the shadows. He's got to outperform Liam Lawson, right? The guy who is just superseded. Let me tell you about this. There's a brilliant interview with Independent. They're cycling. They're cycling. This happened before the promotion, but it's pertinent nevertheless. In an interview with the Independent, Yuki Tsunoda quoted as saying, in fact, context first and foremost, it's important. Let me set the table for you. You'll recall Ricciardo and Tsunoda, you remember the team order settings, and Yuki Tsunoda weren't too happy. Do you remember he crossed on the formation lap? He overtook Danny Rick and did a cheeky wheel bump with him, a la Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton back in the day. Remember when Seb wasn't too pleased, did a similar thing? He said, yeah, over the radio, Tsunoda-san, thanks guys, I appreciate it. He was fuming then. Ricciardo responded, what the fudge is wrong with that guy, Tsunoda-san? I'll save it. He's a fudging helmet. To that circumstance, Yuki Tsunoda responded as follows: I've never felt controlling my emotions was the key to my success. It was just my natural character. My mindset would be to take my stress out on the track and then focus afterwards. These days, F1 is more political, I realise, and has more sponsors. You need to find the balance. You don't want a driver shouting emotions over the radio. The team wants to hear very specific feedback. That was one of the positives on the back of his Abu Dhabi test, that his technical feedback apparently was God tier, said Helmut Marko. So too the other Red Bull engineers. If there is an advantage, a durable competitive one, that he needs to weaponize, then it would be that, in addition to the speed and now the level-headedness and now the level at which he's physically prepared. Helmut Marko's words, not mine. Tsunoda-san continues, I had to change my approach for the future after what happened with Daniel in Bahrain last year. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sticking around in F1. It's the one area I've worked really hard at, and it's helping change my mindset. I've moved to Europe and to Switzerland. I miss my friends quite a lot. However, that's my home now. I went back to Japan to enjoy some time with family and friends, but it's not my home anymore. I like the atmosphere more in Europe, says Tsunoda-san. The more attention that you get in the sport, it's a bit surprising, or the amount of attention even. Listen, I'm telling you, Tsunoda-san going forward is going to need to be good here. He's going to need to manage the pressure cooker. He's going to need to manage the eyes of the watching F1 media. Because, I mean, if he gets on the wrong side of them, if he starts to outburst like he has done in the not too distant past, then it's curtains for him and for Red Bull. They will swap him around in an instant. The Top Gear joke, again, it's a joke, but it's funny because of the serious undertones. They switch on a dime. You got to make good decisions if you harbour aspirations to win yourself a Drivers' Championship and or a Constructors. Yuki Tsunoda, there are stakes. The anniversary or the bloody final event of the Honda Red Bull collaboration. He needs to bloody nail this. Safak, Benzi, Joe Cammy. And I'm nervous for the chap. The marketing spiel, the reels, the bloody highlighting, how fruitful the Honda Red Bull collaboration has been. And this is the last year of it. This is the final Grand Prix, the final Japanese Grand Prix, demarcating it. Therefore, I'm nervous for Tsunoda-san. Moreover, though, I'm nervous for Red Bull, Christian Horner, Dr. Helmut Marko, because of the ramifications downstream going forward if Tsunoda-san cannot handle nor perform that fire-breathing dragon of an RB21. Tsunoda-san, your move, sir.